One, two, action.
Why we have to care about the electric grid and why not put it in a book?
So this pushed me to write a proper draft which can address the current market challenges and then canvas it in the form of a textbook series.
We know that data centers are now becoming one of the major issues around the world. Basically, you could say the idea came about in December 22.
A communication in this power system, how the energy packets are being transferred.
Why you should read the book, Advanced Grid Technologies.
Reading is required to know the challenges of energy and power sector in the market, especially with the variable challenges of renewable energy integration.
Well, basically, my look at it is that the grid is the carrier of energy, electric energy. And with electrification of the whole world, it's one of the big trend internationally. So more and more emphasis is being put on the grid. And that's why this book really will give an overview, a clear idea why we have to care about the electric grid, with the AI, of course, we know that data centers are now becoming one of the major issues around the world. And this book also talks about the role of data centers with the AI in this area.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, what Professor has said, we are talking about the basic concepts of electric power grid, then the evolution of electric power grid to modern power grid, where we are having the integration of renewable energy, and then talking about several case studies, connecting to the local authorities.
How did the idea of the book start? What's the inspiration for it?
Well, basically, you could say the idea came about in December 22.
22.
Right, and we were having dinner in a seafood restaurant,
Yes.
And we just chatted. Why not? We have the experience. We have been teaching, doing research in this area, and why not put it in a book? And we looked around. There are not many of those really current books authored by authors here in this area.
Yes, and the main reference was the 40-year experience of Professor Abdullah. He's a walking encyclopedia for power and energy sector. So this pushed me to write a proper draft which can address the current market challenges and then canvas it in the form of a textbook series.
Yes, the issue is, when you teach a course, you learn. When you interact with the students and you do research around the same areas, you know the ins and outs, the details. And that's why we put all of our experience together in that book.
How long did it take to complete?
Yeah, so the first draft of the book, it took around 2 years and 4 months, starting from April 2023. But the final draft, which include the instructor side, plus the case studies, plus the numerical problem solving, it took around 3 years of time to complete the first volume of this 3-volume textbook series. Yeah.
Well, really, at the beginning, I didn't expect it's going to take that long. But, we every time we are rehearsing and enhancing and revising, adding more of our experience with case studies, it went on. But alhamdulillah, I think after review, we have a standard textbook that we could be proud of and teach to our students.
Absolutely, yeah. And in my opinion, we have completed the first volume in a record time, because if you look into the famous books of Sheldon Ross and other books, they are taking around 6 to 8 years of time. So 3 years for the first volume, it's a phenomenal achievement.
Yeah, I think, the use of technology helps in this area. I mean, comparing the current books with the previous technology is really a big helper there.
What does it discuss?
So there are technically 4 pillars of the book. The first pillar is about the conventional power grid and its historical background. Second chapter or second pillar of the book is about the evolution of power grid into smart grid and what it is bringing to the platform. Third pillar is the integration of renewable energy. Now, when you talk about integration of renewable energy, you are also talking about how to store that energy, how electric vehicles are connecting to that storage, and what kind of policies and infrastructures are required in order to make that concept of modern power grid successful. So these are the four pillars of the book.
Yeah, my focus is being, a conventional, started long time ago, and the grid is the power system transmission part, because I've been teaching that one for a long time, the design of high voltage transmission line that you see every day. So that part is my favorite up to now. Of course, I like the other parts, but this is really where, the fun goes for me, at least in the design part of transmission lines and the high voltage stuff.
Yeah. And power transmission goes with power generation, power system protection, power system stability, power system control. And then we talk about the communication in this power system, how the energy packets are being transferred. So it's a complete different era when you talk about the evolution of power grid into modern smart grids.
And if I may add, the last one is the DSM, the demand side management. That's very exciting. That's really, when we link that with our UAE's experience, DEWA, what DEWA is doing, and DSM, it's really one of the fantastic part, because, that's the link of the grid to the customer. When the grid shakes hands with the customer.
Yes.
And really, this is because we have a lot of experience in the UAE in that part.
Yes, demand side management coupled with the load forecasting.
Yeah.
Who is the target audience?
So target audience is basically the senior undergraduate students, who are basically at level 3 or level 4 of, a electrical engineering program or energy and power engineering program. Also, the target audience is towards the young professionals who are the practicing power engineering in industry. Also, the researchers, who are looking at the new topics of challenges towards the modern power grids.
Right. We designed the book to be comprehensive. It fits the beginners, students that are doing their first energy courses, renewable, non-renewable, and also it goes up to researchers. Yes. So everybody can have his or her concern or part in this book.
Yeah. The backbone of the book, is compiling towards the numerical problem solving, case studies, and the industrial problems. They are being utilized in order to provide an interface with the industrial interaction of energy and power.
What is the collaboration like? How is it beneficial to professors from both universities?
Well, alhamdulillah, we have a lot of cooperation between our two universities, and with Dr. Haris at University of Dubai, myself at RIT Dubai. We are really closely collaborating in research, in education, and mentoring students. When we have master students, so we form a team and we discuss the most recent areas of research to fit our students' need.
So to add on, we are talking about the student projects. We are talking about the master thesis supervision. We are talking about the quality publications in journals, conferences in order to have more collaborators join us together in order to address multiple areas. And the most important is the invention disclosure.
Right.
Yeah, filing patents. Yeah.
Right, that's right. Both universities, we focus on advanced, technologies in the area of grid. You could say we coordinate, we are cohesive together, and that's why also we use the data, local data of our grid here in both of our teaching and research. So that's, I think, we integrate each other, we complement each other.
Yeah, it's always an honor to work in the supervision of Professor Abdullah. As I'm always saying, the kind of experience he's carrying on his shoulders, it must be utilized, so that we can give back to the mankind, especially in this region and in UAE.
Where can they get it?
So we can get the book basically on the Amazon Books platform. We can get the book on the Elsevier publishers. So book is basically available in three formats. One is the ebook. Second one is the paperback edition. Third one is the instructor version. If any approved faculty wants to teach the book, there is an instructor version for that. And the final version is the bundle version, which is the paperback plus the ebook.
If I may add that here, just to add to that one, the angle of why we selected Elsevier. We had many choices.
Yeah.
We could have published the book locally, but we thought that we go with the best. And Elsevier, they are among the best publishers for technical books, research, and whatever. And that's why being approved by Elsevier, that's, a point of pride for us.
Yes.
That they agreed on this one.
Yeah, it took around 8 to 12 months in order for them to convince them. Just to highlight, Elsevier is a 146 years old Dutch publisher. So you can see that, the pioneerity, the legacy they are carrying, and to convince them was another task for us. Yeah.
What advice would you give students or young researchers interested in smart grids and renewable energy?
Well, the whole world has been planning towards smart grid. Smart grid is the new trend of, you don't like comparing your smartphone with the other non-smartphones. So the grid have been over 120 years. Now, in the last decade or so, the whole world agreed that let's go and make our grid smart. And that's why the book focuses on everything smart in terms of the technologies that's used to make the grid smart, including, of course, in AI and digital twin, all those new technology that will be in the forthcoming volumes of the book.
Yes. And to add on over here what Professor has said, the depletion of fossil fuels,
Yeah.
So it is one of the huge alarming sign for all of us, especially in Middle East. So that is why how to find an alternate source of energy. Now, when you're talking about multiple sources of energy and you are integrating them in the same platform of frequency and AC values and DC values, then those challenges are coming towards how to handle a multiple resource energy-based platform in the form of a grid. So, yeah.
If I may add, UAE is among the pioneers in transforming the grid, the conventional grid to smart grid. And it's very vivid if you look at what DEWA is doing, Abu Dhabi Energy is doing, Sharjah, the federal, they have plans. They started over a decade or so. DEWA in particular is very active. An example here goes, they have replaced at least 2 million smart meters. You replace them. This is a big cost, but they have to do it. And DEWA is very keen, as an example in the UAE, to go forward in implementing the smart grid plan in the UAE.
Yeah. And the incentive can be seen that, the combined cycle power plant with desalination in Jebel Ali is one of the largest power plant on planet Earth. And, categorically, it can manage the whole UAE in one shot. So you can see that how DEWA is evolving, especially with the kind of advancements they have in order to, meet the requirements of the modern power grids.